Hi everyone, welcome to Romance Stories. Before watching the video, please give me a like and subscribe. Prepare some drinks and snacks and enjoy this exciting story with me. Thank you very much. I was still wondering why the ice queen of the school had moved in right across from me, when I suddenly heard her incredibly suspicious inner thoughts. Finally moved in right next door to you, Finn. Next step, moving straight into your heart, hee. I froze, thinking maybe I was so stressed I was starting to hallucinate. But to my surprise, she knocked on my door the very next day. Senior Finn, I have 100 kittens at my place that know how to do somersaults. Do you want to come see? But what I actually heard was, the second you step inside, I'm going to pounce, tie you up with my black stockings, and never let you go, hee. I stood there dazed. It turned out the school beauty had moved here specifically for me. But wasn't she supposed to be a cold goddess? Despite the chaos in her head, her exquisite face remained as calm and composed as ever, making it impossible to be sure of anything. The next morning, I ran into her just as I was stepping out of my apartment. Good morning, Iris. What a coincidence. Iris showed no emotion, merely offering a slight nod. Good morning, Senior Finn. However, what I heard was, of course it's a coincidence. To accidentally run into you, I've been up since 5 a.m., washed my face, and stood by the peephole waiting for you to come out. My mind went blank. Iris, is she actually a total hopeless romantic? I couldn't help but steal another glance at her. Yet, from every angle, she still radiated an aura of extreme coldness. Finn is looking at me. I went to bed so late last night. Is my face puffy? Is he going to notice? Arg, I'm so nervous. I found it almost funny. This goddess was actually quite adorable. After exiting the elevator, Iris strode ahead out of the complex. Little Finn, I'm heading off first. I want to walk to school with you so badly, but I'll wait until I have enough courage next time. Ride your bike carefully. Next time I definitely have to ask him to go together. I entered the classroom and sat down, only to see Iris already sitting silently at her desk. Our eyes met for a split second, and her gaze flickered with a hint of light. Finn is finally here. So slow. Should I ask him to walk with me tomorrow? What excuse should I use? This is so frustrating. I stared at her icy profile. If people knew the school's goddess had an inner monologue like this, their jaws would drop. Once class started, the physics teacher walked in. Finn, come up and solve this problem for the class. I nodded and took the marker from the teacher. Mr. Yang's standard method was perfect for review. However, my method might not suit everyone. So, if it doesn't work for you, please follow Mr. Yang's way. The class listened in hushed silence. Mr. Yang, the physics teacher, looked at me with pride. This kid clearly has a faster solution than mine, yet he's still so humble. Below the podium, Iris maintained her calm composure, but her inner voice was screaming. Finn is so cool. No wonder they call him the god of exams. His solution is even faster than Mr. Yang's. He's so handsome. I'm completely in love with him. My lip twitched. In this class, Iris and I were the only two who constantly traded the top spot in the rankings. Could she just be throwing out random praise? I couldn't help but glance at her. Right then, Iris turned her head as well. Our eyes locked, and she immediately looked away, pretending to listen intently to the lecture. Finn looked at me. My ears are so hot. Thank goodness he can't see them. I followed her gaze, and sure enough, her pale, delicate ears had turned bright red. Why does she like me? I wasn't anyone special enough for the school goddess to notice. I couldn't figure it out. When school let out at noon, Kai threw an arm over my shoulder, sounding excited. A new braised pork hock place just opened by the gate. Want to try it? Before I could answer, a petite girl with a ponytail appeared in front of us. She looked up at me, her voice a bit shy. Senior Finn, I'm Lily from class 3. I want to ask about your study methods. Could I add you on social media? I was slightly stunned and instinctively about to give her my ID. But at that exact moment, I felt a wave of murderous intent chill my spine from behind. This girl dares to ask for Finn's contact info right in front of me. Who is she? I need to investigate her immediately. Daring to steal my man? The words I was about to say died in my throat. I turned my head and, sure enough, saw Iris standing in the distance, her cold gaze locked onto Lily. My scalp felt tingly. I immediately changed my tone. Hey, I'm preparing for the university entrance exams soon. If you have questions, just come to my classroom and ask me directly. Lily looked disappointed, bowed an apology, and left. The murderous aura behind me vanished. I breathed a sigh of relief. Thank goodness I didn't let things go too far. Otherwise, who knows if Iris would actually have someone investigate Lily. Finn is so wonderful. He knows how to keep his distance from other girls. Adding another girl? Not a chance. You have to add me first. I couldn't help but steal another look at Iris. This girl was both obsessive and adorable. That evening, I got on my bike to head home. As I was wheeling my bike out of the parking lot, I saw Iris standing at the school gate. She looked unhappy, talking on her phone. Uncle Lee, are you sure you can't pick me up? It's really hard to catch a ride here right now. Her voice sounded anxious. I hesitated for a moment before approaching. Are you still heading back to the apartment? If you don't mind, I can give you a ride. Iris's eyes lit up, but she maintained her cool exterior. Won't that be a bother? Not at all. Just sit on the back and help me hold the umbrella. I handed her the umbrella. Immediately, her excited inner voice rang in my ears. I finally get to sit on the back of his bike. This is amazing. Can it please keep raining like this next time? I suppressed a smile and cautioned her, hold on tight. One hand on the umbrella, and use the other to hold onto my jacket. Don't let go, or you'll fall. Understood. Being this close to him, I never want to get off this bike. I truly didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Ice Queen. The coldness was nothing but a shell. When we arrived back at the complex, I was about to mention the neighbor next door, only to discover that the residents of Unit 101 had already moved out. Iris gave a slight nod, but internally she was ecstatic. Perfect. Now we're the only ones on this entire floor. I need to tell Uncle Lee to rent Unit 101 immediately. Hearing this, I could only shake my head helplessly. Once home, I started cooking. Outside, the rain poured down, accompanied by frequent claps of thunder. A moment later, the doorbell rang. I opened it to find Iris standing there. She was wearing an oversized nightgown that revealed her pale, slender legs, and she looked uneasy. Senior Finn, are you busy? My window is broken, and the wind keeps blowing in. I'm really scared of the thunder. She bit her lip, her cheeks quickly flushing. I'm so scared. What if Finn finds me annoying? But it really feels like something is trying to crawl in through the window. I nodded. It might just be a stuck screw. If you don't mind, I'll go take a look. Finn is so kind. He's such a thoughtful person. I checked the window, and sure enough, a screw had come loose. As I was fixing it, that voice echoed in my ears again. Finn is so talented. He even knows how to fix windows. Oh, what a pity. If I had known, I would have swapped this nightgown for black stockings. I wonder if Finn prefers black or white. Without thinking, I blurted out black. The moment the word left my mouth, I froze. Crap, why did I say that out loud? Behind me, Iris's voice turned several degrees colder. What did you just say? I swallowed hard, desperately trying to put out the fire. I said, the sky is so black and dark out there, huh? Fortunately, she didn't seem suspicious. After the window was fixed, Iris offered me a glass of juice. She sipped her drink, quietly observing me. A rare opportunity. Maybe I should put something in his juice. That's how it always happens in the movies. If Finn drinks it and loses consciousness, I can do whatever I want with him. Hee. My lip twitched uncontrollably. Note to self, never, ever drink anything she hands me in the future. I desperately try to find a different topic to break the bizarre atmosphere. Everyone says you live in a mansion. Why did you move here? Iris shook her head. They're wrong. I don't live in a mansion. Yeah, I figure a mansion was a bit of an exaggeration, I replied. But then, she calmly added, I live in an estate. I nearly spat my juice across the room. An estate. Iris ignored my shock and spoke softly. I moved here because it's closer to school and I can sleep in a bit longer in the morning. Actually, it's just to be near Finn, but I can't exactly say that out loud. I was speechless. If I couldn't hear her thoughts, I would have believed her hook, line, and sinker. I looked at Iris, feeling a bit curious. Living here alone, aren't your parents worried? At that, her gaze dimmed for a moment. My mother passed away when I was young. As for my father, he has more important things to do. I froze, realizing I had accidentally touched a nerve. I'm sorry, I didn't know. Iris shook her head, quickly regaining her characteristic coldness. It's fine. I'm a bit tired. You should go head back and rest. I didn't say anything more and stood up to leave. But as soon as I stepped out the door, I heard her thoughts. Darn, I didn't get to add Finn as a friend tonight. But tomorrow morning, the moment I step out, I'll see him again. I was at a loss for words. Sure enough, the next morning as I opened my door, the door opposite mine opened at the exact same time. Good morning, Iris. Another coincidence, I see. Iris maintained her icy facade, but inside, she was screaming with joy. Good morning, little Finn. Hee hee, it's not a coincidence at all. I was deliberately waiting for you. I looked at her, the corners of my mouth twitching upward. Iris rode her electric scooter while I biked to school. In class, Kai looked at me with a face full of grievance. It rained yesterday, and when I got home, I realized my phone was gone. I must have dropped it somewhere. I laughed. Losing it might be a good thing. Less distraction. Now you can focus on the exams. Don't be like that. Tomorrow is a holiday, and I wanted to pull for Farina. A holiday? Tomorrow is Wednesday. Kai looked at me as if I had just dropped from Mars. Did you forget? The 10th and 11th graders have their assessment exams. Our school is a testing center, so the 12th graders get 3 days off. Let's go to a hotel and play games. It's on me, Kai suggested. I was about to refuse, but seeing the longing in his eyes, I gave a reluctant nod. Fine, but only for the morning. We study in the afternoon. Deal. Kai excitedly handed me some cash. You book the room first. I'll sneak past my mom tomorrow and meet you there. That evening, as school let out, Iris walked up to me. Her face was expressionless, but her voice carried a hint of anticipation. Give me your QQ number. I blinked, remembering my promise from the day before. I recited the numbers, and Iris hurriedly jotted them down. I finally have Finn's QQ. If I'm brave enough to ask for his number today, I'll be brave enough to hug him tomorrow. My face darkened. I couldn't resist asking, are you only brave in your head? Iris paused for a split second before quickly turning around and walking away. However, that night, I waited and waited, but no friend request arrived. Did she forget? No. With her personality, that's impossible. The next morning, I arrived at the hotel to play games as planned. As soon as I powered on the PC, I received a friend request from an account with a penguin avatar. Without thinking twice, I accepted and sent a message. Hotel A11, room 510. On the other side of town, Iris was sitting on her sofa. She stared at the message I sent, so flustered she wanted to shred the pillow in her arms. Finn is calling me to a hotel. We just became friends, and he's already inviting me to a hotel. Isn't this too fast? Should I wear a dress? Or black stockings? She rolled back and forth on the couch, hesitating for an hour, unable to make a decision. Meanwhile, back at the room, I got a call from Kai. Finn, my mom caught me and is forcing me to do homework. I can't make it today. I see, I said, hanging up. Suddenly it clicked. Something was very wrong. Wait, if Kai hasn't had the chance to add me back yet, then wasn't the person I just messaged Iris? Right at that moment, there was a knock on the door. Thinking Kai had managed to sneak out after all, I rushed to open it, barking out before I could even see who it was. You've got guts. Your mom caught you, and you still dare to sneak out to a hotel. I froze. The person standing there wasn't Kai. It was Iris. She had her arms crossed over her chest, her gaze incredibly dangerous. Finn, who exactly are you telling to get ready? My body went stiff. She had completely misunderstood. Wait, it's not what you think. But Iris didn't wait for an explanation. She stepped coldly into the room. Let's see if you've got some girl hidden in here. I stood there in silence. I'm truly dead today. Iris scanned the room. After confirming there was no one else there, her expression softened slightly, though she remained suspicious. If I hadn't shown up, wouldn't he be here with some other girl? I sighed and explained seriously. You've misunderstood. I was supposed to meet Kai here to play games. But his mom caught him and forced him to do homework, so he couldn't make it. I thought you were him, which is why I sent the message to the wrong person. Iris narrowed her eyes, her sharp gaze seemingly trying to peel back my skin and read my soul. Kai, huh? She went silent for a few seconds before suddenly letting out a cold smile. If it really was Kai, then why did you mention getting ready earlier? I froze. Damn it. When I thought it was Kai, I had just blurted out a joke. I didn't expect it to accidentally make the situation 10 times more suspicious. Iris crossed her arms and arched an eyebrow at me. Well, who were you actually planning to meet at a hotel? In my head, I was screaming, I'm innocent. I really didn't have a date. I fought to keep my cool and kept explaining. It was just a joke. I meant he should wash his hands before playing because the keyboards here aren't exactly clean. She seemed to buy it just a little. It looks like there really isn't anyone else here. Just as I thought the storm had passed, she glanced at the computer next to me. I want to play too. My eyes nearly popped out of my head. You know how to play? Iris lifted her chin confidently. Of course. I'm very good. 10 minutes later, I sat beside her, my forehead practically covered in black lines of frustration. Iris, you said you were good, but you're in the game and you don't even know how to move. She remained as arrogant as ever, responding solemnly. That's because there's something wrong with this keyboard. Annoyed, I switched to a first-person shooter to see if she fared any better. The result? An enemy was standing right in front of her. She emptied the clip and didn't land a single hit. Are you trying to draw a silhouette around him with bullets? Iris tilted her head. The mouse is defective. Unable to take it anymore, I switched to Plants vs. Zombies. She proceeded to plant sunflowers in the very front row, blocking the path of all her defensive plants. I asked, completely dejected, "You're not going to tell me this is a strategy, are you?" She blinked and replied, nonchalantly, "This is called my brain protection strategy." I was so exasperated I actually laughed. Not only was she terrible at games, but she was also shamelessly making up tactics on the fly. Finally, I gave up on training her and found something simpler, Fireboy and Water Girl. Fortunately, she actually played reasonably well this time. I watched Iris as she focused intensely on controlling her character. Her face was radiant, like a child discovering the world of gaming for the first time. Looking at her like this, who would believe she was the Ice Queen? I sighed, a smile tugging at my lips without me realizing it. After playing for a long while, I checked the time. Iris, that's enough for today. I have to go home and study. She immediately frowned, clearly unhappy. I haven't played enough yet. But this is an esports hotel, not a place to study. She went silent for a few seconds, then suddenly stood up. Fine, then I'm leaving too. I packed my things, pretending to walk out with her to ensure she didn't double back. But when we reached the reception desk, she suddenly turned and questioned me. Why haven't you checked out yet? I froze. Iris narrowed her eyes, her gaze piercing. Finn, are you waiting for me to leave so you can call another girl over? I was speechless. Without hesitation, I replied, I'm checking out right now. She gave a skeptical huff and left the hotel. Once the paperwork was finished, I found a nearby library to focus on my studies. But I hadn't even been seated for 5 minutes when the chair opposite me was pulled back. Iris appeared once again. I stared at her wide-eyed. Iris, are you stalking me again? She shook her head solemnly. I'm not stalking you. I came here to study too. With that, she opened her tote bag and pulled out a stack of assignments. I'm a member of this library as well. Is there something wrong with that? I stayed silent. But then I heard her thoughts. If Finn likes studying at the library, then I'll be coming here a lot more often. Tomorrow, I have to tell Uncle Lee to sign me up for memberships at every single library in the city. She truly has too much money. After 2 hours of studying, I checked my watch. It's time for dinner. Do you want to eat with me? The moment the words left my mouth, Iris shot up from her seat. So fast I thought she was spring-loaded. Realizing her reaction was a bit too enthusiastic, she quickly lowered her head and pretended to be composed. Well, since you're insisting, I suppose I'll go. I looked at her, unable to stop a small smile from forming. You're really too easy to read, Iris. Seeing her slight embarrassment after agreeing so eagerly, I stood up first to give her an out. Let's go get Korean barbecue. She nodded and reached for her phone, intending to book a ride. But before I could even open my ride-sharing app, a black Maybach pulled up right in front of us. Iris turned to me with a faint smile. No need to call a car. Get in. As she spoke, the car door opened automatically. I hesitated. What? Is she really planning to take me away in her family car? If I refused, would she get angry? But getting in felt like walking right into a trap. I looked at Iris. She was smiling brightly, but her inner voice was cheering. I finally got Finn into my car. I sat in silence for 3 seconds, then sighed and climbed into the car. Fine, a Maybach is certainly more comfortable than a bicycle. Once settled into the seat, I couldn't help but exhale. This car is incredibly comfortable. Hearing that, Iris became even more ecstatic. Then I'll let him get used to this gradually. Little by little, he'll adapt to my lifestyle until he can't ever leave me. My lip twitched. Is she actually planning to corrupt me? The driver, Uncle Lee, caught my eye in the rearview mirror and offered a polite smile. Master Finn, where are we headed? I coughed lightly. I'm not a master of anything, Uncle. Just calling me by my name is fine. I turned to Iris, curious. Have you talked about me with Uncle Lee? She replied instantly, well, we are classmates after all. But in her heart, a different thought resonated. Finn is my man. Of course I have to tell the people at home about him. I need them to get used to him for the future. I was at a loss for words. Soon, the car pulled up in front of a Korean barbecue restaurant. Once inside, I handed the menu to Iris. You order. Don't be shy. She took the menu and, without being shy at all, ordered a mountain of the most expensive items. I wept internally. I said don't be shy, but I didn't mean order the entire luxury section. I glanced at the potential bill and nearly choked. But then, Iris spoke up nonchalantly. It's my treat. You don't need to worry about the money. I stared at her wide-eyed. She looked back at me, her lips curving into a soft smile. I think you're too thin, Finn. You need to eat more. Immediately after, another sentence popped into her head. Since Kai is so big and tall, I have to fatten Finn up too. I nearly spat out my water. Is she treating me like a pet to be raised? When the food arrived, Iris enthusiastically started grilling the meat. But it wasn't long before I couldn't take it anymore and snatched the tongs from her. Iris, how on earth are you grilling this? You cut the meat into chunks as big as slippers, dump them all on at once, and you're using the same chopsticks for raw and cooked meat. Aren't you afraid of a stomachache? She blinked at me, looking a bit sheepish. I rarely cook for myself. But right after that, her inner voice chimed in. Finn just scolded me. Is he worried about me? He cares. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. In the end, I took over the grilling duties while Iris focused on the eating. While chewing, she suddenly looked up at me and asked softly, Finn, which university are you planning to apply to? I didn't answer right away, silently listening for her thoughts. But strangely, this time, her mind was completely quiet. It felt odd. After a few seconds, I finally replied, North in Jiaodong University. Upon hearing this, Iris's eyes lit up, but she instantly masked her expression. She asked with feigned indifference, why choose that one? No special reason. It's the top school in North and plus, I want to get as far away from my family as possible. I gave a faint, bittersweet smile, but as I was about to continue, I noticed Iris's gaze darken slightly. The atmosphere between us turned quiet for a moment. However, just as I was about to break the silence, a middle-aged man in a sharp suit entered the restaurant and walked straight toward our table. Uncle Lee hurried in from outside, his voice urgent. Miss, the chairman has returned to the country. He is waiting for you at the villa. Iris froze. She bit her lip and frowned slightly, her voice laced with dissatisfaction. But I haven't finished eating yet. Uncle Lee shook his head. Miss, you know the chairman's temperament. If you don't return immediately, he will be furious. Iris went silent for a moment, then turned to me with a calm face. I have to leave first. I'll treat you to another meal next time. But as she turned to walk away, another thought echoed in her mind. Next time, I'm picking a restaurant with a private room, so no one can bother us. I chuckled softly and nodded. Sure, but next time the treat's on me. Iris blinked in surprise, then offered a small, genuine smile. Once her figure disappeared, I quietly put down my chopsticks and watched the direction she had gone. So, I finally know a little bit about Iris's family. With Iris gone, I didn't have much of an appetite left, so I left the restaurant. As soon as I stepped out, my phone rang. It was Kai. Finn, I'm finally done with my homework. Where are you? Let's hang out. I laughed and shook my head. Can't. I have to go home and study. Don't be so serious. Where are you? I'm coming to find you. I'm near Wanda Plaza. Wait there. I'll be there in a flash. I clicked my tongue and looked for a spot to wait. But as I passed a watch boutique, I instinctively stopped. Inside the store, Tiffany was standing at the counter with a beautiful girl with long hair. I frowned slightly. Wasn't this the girl my aunt kept telling me to get close to? Before I could leave, Tiffany spotted me. She blinked and quickly grabbed her friend's hand, walking toward me. Finn, what a coincidence. I didn't react, only watching her in silence. Tiffany didn't show the slightest bit of embarrassment, speaking as if it were the most natural thing in the world. I want to buy a watch, but I'm short on cash. Could you help me pay for it? I arched an eyebrow. Why should I help you? Beside her, the girl named Meow Meow chimed in. Finn, you like Tiffany too, don't you? It's just a small gift. I chuckled coldly. Just because you want it, I have to buy it? In that case, I have a way for you to make money very quickly too. Tiffany looked curious. What way? I pointed toward the street. Go out there, put a bowl in front of you, and ask whoever passes by for money. Tiffany's face instantly turned pale. Are you telling me to be a beggar? I shrugged. Aren't you essentially begging me right now? Tiffany was speechless, and Meow Meow, standing beside her, also looked indignant. Finn, you've gone too far. I burst out laughing. You two have a nerve to demand I buy you a watch. And now you say I've gone too far? I didn't bother with them anymore and turned to leave. Behind me, Tiffany stomped her foot in a rage. Finn, you just wait. How dare you treat me like this? I lazily waved my hand. I'm waiting. What are you going to do? Hurry up, though. There are a lot of cats around here. Tiffany was livid, but she had no idea what to do next. I smiled thinly and kept walking. The more adorable Iris was, the more annoying Tiffany became. A few days later, once the holiday ended, I headed back to school. Early in the morning, the moment I opened my door, the one opposite opened instantly. Iris stood there, still wearing her usual cold expression. Good morning, Iris. She offered a slight nod, but her heart was screaming with joy. Finn took the initiative to greet me again. Ah, this is great. I want to ask him to go with me. I suppressed a laugh. Do you want to go together? Iris started, quickly shaking her head. No, I'm taking the car. But internally, she was wailing. I'm such a coward. Why didn't I just ask him? I smiled and biked to school. When I arrived at the classroom, I found Kai slumped over his desk. Hey, did you stay up late last night? Kai let out a long yawn. Yeah, gaming until the crack of dawn. Oh, right. Have you heard the news? What news? Kai whispered. I heard a girl from the 11th grade wants to confess to you. I froze. Are you joking? Nope. They say she's planning to do it right here in class. Before I could even process that, a petite girl walked into the room and came straight to my desk. Her face flushed a deep red, and she bit her lip before whispering, Senior Finn, I like you. The whole class erupted in ooze. I arched an eyebrow, and before I could even formulate a response, I felt a sudden wave of icy air from behind. Iris was sitting at her desk, her expression terrifyingly cold. Who is this girl? How dare she confess to Finn right in front of me? I immediately rejected her. I'm sorry, I have no intention of dating right now. The girl bowed her head in disappointment and ran out of the room. Iris's anger hadn't faded. She was actually thinking, who is she? What's her name? Should I tell Uncle Lee to investigate her? I shuddered and hurriedly lowered my head to work on my assignments, pretending to be oblivious. Kai gave me a teasing nudge. Smart move. I burst out laughing. This girl really is quite cute. After the underclassmen ran out of the classroom, I turned to steal a glance at Iris. She maintained her composed expression, but I could hear the voice within. It's a good thing Finn rejected her immediately. If he had dared to accept, I would have definitely made her disappear. I couldn't help but let out a soft chuckle. What are you laughing at? Iris looked at me suspiciously. Nothing, I just think you're kind of adorable. Hearing that, Iris froze. Her face didn't change, but inside she was screaming, Ah? Finn said, I'm adorable. Does he really think I'm cute? She quickly lowered her head, pretending to focus on her assignments, but her pale ears were gradually turning crimson. I found it quite entertaining, but decided not to tease her further. At noon, as soon as school let out, Kai threw an arm around my shoulder, sounding excited. Let's go grab lunch. I heard the place near school has a great new hot pot dish. I nodded. As the two of us stepped out of the classroom, I noticed Iris following behind. She kept a moderate distance, her face as icy as ever. But in her heart, she was thinking, where's Finn going? Is he not going to invite me? Has he already forgotten about me? No, I have to find a way to create an opportunity to meet up. I turned my head toward her and asked with a smile, Iris, are you going to lunch too? She paused for a moment, then quickly nodded. Yeah, want to join us then? Her eyes lit up, yet she tried to keep her voice nonchalant. I suppose so. But inside, she was jumping for joy. Ha! Finn invited me to lunch. Mission accomplished. Kai looked at the two of us, blinking suggestively with a smirk. Let's go, let's go. I don't mind being the third wheel. Iris immediately glared at him. Third wheel? You think you're qualified to be a third wheel? Get lost. I nearly burst out laughing. The three of us reached the hot pot restaurant. Iris wasn't used to ordering for herself, so I had to help her choose. But when the food arrived, I realized she had no idea how to actually eat hot pot. She just picked up a giant slab of meat and dropped it into the broth without cutting it or dipping it properly. I frowned, unable to stay silent. How on earth are you eating hot pot? At least cut the meat first. Iris blinked, looking a bit flustered. I'm not used to eating out. But her inner thought was, oh no, I'm acting like a total idiot in front of Finn again. He won't think I'm clumsy, will he? I have to find a way to save my image. I sighed and took the chopsticks to help her dip the meat. Just let me do it. You just eat. Iris watched me in silence, the corners of her mouth curving up ever so slightly. Finn is taking care of me. Tee. At this rate, doesn't it feel just like a real date? I truly didn't know what to say anymore. Kai, sitting beside us, was eating and grinning like he was watching a live-action romance movie. After finishing lunch, Kai and I headed back to class, with Iris following closely behind. Kai gave me a cheeky wink. Hey, I noticed Iris follows you everywhere you go. I shot him a look, but remained silent. However, right then, I heard Iris's inner voice whispering. So what if I follow Finn? I like doing it. Who told him to be so cool all the time anyway? I nearly burst out laughing. In the evening, as school ended, a sudden heavy downpour began. Just as I was wheeling my bike out of the gate, I saw Iris standing there, frowning at her phone screen. I walked up and asked, "What's wrong now?" She looked up, hesitated for a moment, and replied, "Uncle Lee is stuck in traffic. He can't pick me up right away." I looked at the torrential rain and opened my umbrella. "If you don't mind, I can give you a ride." Her eyes lit up instantly, yet she feigned a calm nod. I suppose that works. But inside, she was screaming, "I get to sit on the back of Finn's bike again. It rained the other day, and it's raining again today. Oh my God, the heavens really know how to help a girl out." I couldn't help but let out a soft chuckle. She held the umbrella and gently hopped onto the back of my bike. "Hold on tight. Don't let go." "Okay," Iris replied softly, but her heart was cheering with joy. I want to hug him so badly. But no, I have to maintain my image. But if the bike stops suddenly, could I use that as an excuse to grab onto him? Iris was truly too easy to read. I bike her back to the apartment complex. The rain showed no signs of stopping. Heavy droplets fell, making the air turn chilly. Sitting behind me, Iris held the umbrella with one hand and lightly gripped my jacket with the other. She remained silent during the ride, but I could hear her inner debate. If I hug him too tight, I'll lose my cool image. But if I don't hug him, I'll regret it. What should I do? I couldn't help but laugh out loud. "What are you laughing at?" Iris asked suspiciously. "Nothing. I just remembered something funny." She blinked, but didn't press further. We reached the complex quickly. After getting off the bike, Iris looked at me and spoke in a soft voice. "Thank you." I waved it off. "No problem. Head upstairs quickly. It's still pouring." However, she didn't leave immediately. She stood there, hesitating for a few seconds before finally stammering, "Finn, there seems to be a slight problem at my place. Could you come take a look for me?" I knitted my brows. "What kind of problem?" Iris bit her lip, her voice dropping to a whisper. "I think the wind is hitting the window too hard. I can't get it to close." But in her heart, she was cheering. With the rain pouring like this, if Finn comes inside, he won't be able to leave right away, right? I'm so smart. My lip twitched. "Iris, you really are a little fox." Even though I knew perfectly well she was making up an excuse, I still nodded. "All right, I'll go up and help you." Hearing that, her eyes sparkled, though she fought to maintain her icy facade. "Then let's go." Inside Iris's apartment, I quickly checked the window. Sure enough, there was nothing seriously wrong with it. She just hadn't used enough force to pull it shut. I gave it a light tug, and the window clicked firmly into place. Turning back to look at Iris, who was standing behind me with her arms crossed, I said, "All fixed. You can sleep peacefully now." Iris looked at me with a hint of disappointment, but internally she was screaming, "Damn it. Why did he fix it so fast?" I suppressed a smirk while keeping a calm expression. "Is there anything else? If not, I'm heading out." Iris bit her lip softly. Suddenly, she stepped forward and grabbed my wrist, her voice as quiet as a mosquito's hum. "Finn, why don't you stay for a glass of juice?" I paused and looked at her. Iris maintained her calm facade, but her ears were flushed a deep crimson. Internally, she was screaming. I actually invited him. If he agrees, won't he stay much longer? I arched an eyebrow. Is she actually planning to put something in the juice? Recalling the last time she thought about spiking my drink to make me lose consciousness, I let out a light cough. No thanks. It's late. I should head back. Hearing that, Iris was momentarily stunned. He rejected me? No way. I have to find a way to make him stay. Just as I turned to leave, she gripped my wrist even tighter. Her voice was hesitant. Finn, don't you see how hard it's raining? What if he gets soaked on the way back? I raised an eyebrow again. So, what do you want me to do? Iris bit her lip, her eyes full of anticipation. Just stay for a little while before you go. In her heart, she was chanting, stay, stay, stay. Looking into her shimmering eyes, I couldn't help but sigh. All right, I'll sit for a bit. The second the words left my mouth, I heard her inner thoughts. Success. Oh my God, I'm a total genius. I shook my head, feeling that she was truly too adorable. I sat down on the sofa, and Iris quickly poured me a glass of juice. I stared intently at the glass, then glanced over at her. She tilted her head. Why aren't you drinking? I narrowed my eyes. There's nothing extra in here, is there? Iris blinked. Her face was a mask of calm, but her mind was in a total frenzy. Why is he suspicious? Was I too obvious? Finally, I sighed and took a sip. Fine, I'm drinking it. Happy. Seeing this, Iris let out a hidden smirk. He drank it. Even though there's nothing in the juice, as long as I can keep him here, it's a win. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. After finishing the glass, I stood up. All right, I'm heading back now. Iris looked stunned. Already? No, I have to find a way to keep him longer. Immediately, she glanced toward the window. Finn, look, the rain hasn't let up at all. I frowned slightly. Was she planning to keep me here all night? But just then, her phone suddenly rang. Iris glanced at the screen, and her expression shifted. It's my dad calling. Does he know I'm with Finn? I watch her reaction, my brow furrowing. Aren't you going to answer? Iris hesitated for a moment before finally picking up. A deep, steady voice echoed from the speaker. Iris, come home tomorrow for a visit. She was momentarily dazed. Home? It's been so long since Dad took the initiative to call me back. I looked at her, a sudden sense of unease rising in my chest. Iris hung up and turned to me, her gaze complicated. I gave a small, steady smile. Is something wrong? She remained silent for a while, then shook her head gently. Nothing. I just have to go home tomorrow. I looked at her, my intuition telling me this wasn't simple. You don't seem like you want to go home. Iris jumped, quickly shaking her head. No, it's just been a while. But her heart thought otherwise. Why is Finn so perceptive? I really don't want to go, but I can't just say that. I sighed. Knowing she didn't want to elaborate, I didn't push it. Then be careful on your way tomorrow. Iris looked up at me, a strange spark in her eyes. Are you worried about me? I smiled. We're classmates. It's normal to look out for each other. But immediately after, I heard her inner monologue. No, we can't stay just classmates. I need to upgrade our relationship, and fast. I nearly burst out laughing. Iris truly was too adorable. The next day, I arrived to class as usual. But today, Iris's seat was empty. No one said a word, but I felt a strange sense of unease. After all, Iris had never missed a day of school without a reason. Kai nudged me, wearing a suggestive smirk. Hey, who are you looking for? I glared at him. Nobody. But immediately after, I caught my own inner thought. Iris isn't in class today, and suddenly the room feels a bit empty. I froze. Wait, why am I feeling this way? Throughout the entire day, I found it hard to concentrate. It wasn't until school let out that I checked my phone and found a message from an unknown number. Finn, I'm back home now. I knitted my brows. She messaged me? She sent a text the moment she arrived. I replied, good to know you made it back safely. Almost instantly, she wrote back, what are you doing? After a moment's thought, I answered, just finished school on my way home. Right then, I heard her distant inner thoughts. Finn is on his way home. How annoying. I wish I could be walking with him right now. I was speechless. I can hear her from this far away. Iris, you really can't hide your feelings at all. That evening, just as I sat down on my desk to study, my phone vibrated again. Have you had dinner yet? I frowned, finding it a bit odd. Since when did she start checking in on me so frequently? Still, I replied, not yet, about to cook. How about you? Iris didn't answer immediately, but a few minutes later, another message popped up. There's nothing good to eat at my house. I laughed. Is she waiting for me to invite her over? After a brief hesitation, I texted back. If you don't mind, I could cook a meal for you. Almost instantly, I heard her mind racing. Finn wants to cook for me. Oh my God, we're basically like a married couple now. I burst out laughing. Soon, she sent a brief reply. Okay. Looking at the message, I couldn't help but smile. Iris, you really have no poker face, even over text. I started cooking. An hour later, I sent her a message. Dinner's ready. Do you want to come over? But instead of a text reply, my doorbell rang immediately. I was stunned. That fast. I opened the door to find Iris standing there. She was wearing comfortable pajamas, her long hair flowing loosely. She looked casual, yet incredibly beautiful. She looked at me and said flatly, I'm here. But inside, she was screaming, I've been standing outside his door for ages. I was just waiting for the text to knock. My lip twitched. So, Iris had been waiting there on purpose. I invited her in and set the dishes on the table. Iris looked at the spread, her eyes lighting up even as she tried to maintain her icy composure. This is acceptable. But inside, she was screaming, whoa, so many dishes? Finn is truly the perfect house husband material. I sat down and looked at her. What are you standing there for? Eat. Iris gave a slight nod and took her first bite. The moment she tasted it, her eyes flickered. It's delicious. This is even better than the food our family chef makes. On the outside, she remained stoic. It's all right, I guess. I arched an eyebrow and suppressed a smirk. Well, if you don't like it, I'll just eat it all myself. At that, she immediately pulled her bowl closer, her gaze guarded. You can't. But realizing she had reacted too quickly, she let out a light cough. I mean, wasting food is a sin. I let a smile tug on my lips. Truly too easy to read, Iris. After we finished, I stood up to clear the table. Iris looked at me, hesitated, then suddenly spoke up. I'll help you. I looked at her, genuinely surprised. You know how to wash dishes? Iris lifted her chin arrogantly. Of course. But internally, I've never washed a dish in my life, but I can't let Finn look down on me. I laughed. Go ahead then. I'll watch. Hearing that, she stiffened. A moment later, she reluctantly picked up the sponge and began scrubbing a plate so hard it sounded like she was sanding a floor. Screech, screech, screech. Was she trying to torture the porcelain? Seeing her struggle endlessly without a clue how to actually rinse it, I finally couldn't take it anymore. I walked over and took the sponge from her hand. All right, let me do it. Iris blushed slightly and pouted. I'll learn how to wash dishes by next time. But in her head, no. I can't let Finn think I'm useless. When I go home tomorrow, I must practice washing dishes in front of a mirror. I nearly burst out laughing. She really refuses to lose to anyone. I'll look forward to next time then, classmate Iris. I watched her expression, a mix of sulking and hidden joy, and sighed inwardly. Iris, what on earth are you hiding? After hearing me say that I might miss her, a spark of light danced in her eyes. But she quickly regained her usual cold exterior. She stood up, smoothed her long hair, and spoke calmly. I'm going back to my room now. But inside, she was screaming, Finn said he'll miss me. Today is truly a wonderful day. I watch her walk away, unable to stop a soft chuckle from escaping. Iris, you really can't hide a single emotion from me. The next day, Iris went home as she had mentioned. I went to class as usual, but found myself instinctively glancing at her empty seat. Kai noticed and teased me with a grin. Hey, what are you looking at? Missing someone. I glared at him and didn't bother answering. But even I felt something was off. Am I already so used to hearing her thoughts every day? At dinner, I received a text from an unknown number. What are you doing? I arched an eyebrow. Who is this? But after a moment's thought, I guessed it immediately. I texted back, Iris? The reply was instantaneous. Yes, it's me. I chuckled. Would she try to play hard to get by pretending I wouldn't know? I followed up with, is everything okay at home? A few moments later, a new message appeared. It's fine, but a bit boring. Right after that, I heard her distant thoughts. It's so dull. Without Finn around, it feels like something is missing. I laughed and typed back. Now that you're home, enjoy it. Stop texting me just to complain about being bored. The other side went silent for a few seconds before another message arrived. What if I said I missed you? I froze. My heart skipped a beat. I stared at the message, a strange, fluttery sensation rising in my chest. After a few seconds, I replied, "Are you joking?" But this time, Iris didn't reply immediately. I waited a while until the message finally popped up. "No, I'm being serious." My heart suddenly started racing. I held the phone, staring intensely at the screen, finding it hard to believe. Is Iris actually being serious? While I was still lost in thought, another message arrived. "You don't have to answer right away." I just wanted to say it. I looked at those words, my mind flooded with complex emotions. Finally, I just sent back a classic line. Right? "Make sure you eat your dinner." Then I switched off the phone, leaned back in my chair, and let out a long sigh. "Iris, what exactly are you after?" After sending the text, I put the phone down, but my heart was nowhere near as calm as I looked. Was she telling the truth? Does she really miss me? I shook my head, trying not to overthink it. Yet, for the rest of the evening, I found myself subconsciously glancing at my phone as if I were waiting for something. But Iris didn't text again. She simply left that one statement hanging and went silent. This only made things even more confusing for me. The next day, I headed to class as usual. But the moment I stepped inside, I noticed something different. Iris was back. She was sitting in her usual spot, maintaining her trademark cold expression, as if last night's conversation had never happened. However, as I walked past her desk, I caught her inner voice. "Ah, finally, I'm seeing Finn again." Being away for just one day felt like an entire month. I nearly did a double take. She really is the textbook definition of ice on the outside, fire on the inside. I purposely acted oblivious and took my seat. Kai nudged my shoulder and whispered, "Hey, Iris is back." "So?" I raised an eyebrow. Kai grinned suggestively. "Don't you think she's in a significantly better mood today?" I stayed silent, but secretly, I had to agree with him. Even though her face was as stoic as ever, I could sense she was genuinely happy. At noon, when school let out, I went out to grab some food. Iris didn't say a word, but she quietly followed me. While I was picking out dishes, she stood beside me, pretending to be uninterested, but in reality, she was waiting for something. Will Finn ask me to eat with him, or should I speak up first? But if I'm the one to say it, I'll lose face. What should I do? I suppressed a laugh and turned to her. "Do you want anything? If not, I'll just order for you." Iris nodded immediately. "Yeah, order for me too." Inside, she was cheering yes. Success. Finn took the initiative to ask me to eat with him. I sighed inwardly. Is she really this easy to read? After eating, we headed back to class together. On the way, I suddenly remembered last night's text and asked casually, "Were you being serious in that message last night?" Iris froze for a split second. She turned to look at me, a strange spark flickering in her eyes. On the surface, she remained nonchalant. "Well, what do you think?" I narrowed my eyes, staring intently at her. Right then, I heard her thoughts. Is he testing me? If I admit it, will I lose my cool? But if I don't, what if he misunderstands? God, this is too hard. I decided not to press her any further. Never mind. Just pretend I didn't ask. Iris pouted slightly, but said nothing. Yet, her heart was shouting. Finn, sooner or later, you're going to find out. I let a small smile touch my lips. Fine then. I'll wait and see what you do. After returning to the classroom, Iris maintained her usual cold facade. But I could hear her inner voice. I have to act calm. I can't let Finn find out that I'm over-the-top happy. She was clearly overjoyed, yet she desperately tried to pretend nothing had happened. Kai nudged me, lowering his voice. Hey, I'm telling you, your relationship with Iris is getting better by the day. I shot him a look. You're overthinking it. Kai winked. Overthinking? It's as plain as day that she's into you. I silently glanced over at Iris. She was pretending to be deeply absorbed in her book, but in her head, she was shouting, Ah, Kai's right. I am totally into Finn. I shook my head helplessly. Asterisk Iris, you're truly too easy to read. Asterisk. In the afternoon, as school let out, it suddenly started pouring again. I hadn't brought an umbrella and was planning to wait for the rain to let up when I heard a familiar voice. Finn, do you want to share an umbrella? I turned my head and saw Iris standing right beside me, holding one. But what surprised me even more was her inner monologue. Hee, it's raining again. Perfect. Last time I successfully rode on the back of Finn's bike. This time we're definitely going together. Are you sure? I'm on my bike. You'll get a bit wet, I said. Iris replied instantly, it's fine, I don't mind. But in her heart, she was screaming, who cares about that? The important thing is being with Finn. I chuckled and patted the back of my bike. Hop on. Iris gave a slight nod and gently sat on the rear seat. She held the umbrella over both of us, and I could feel the warmth radiating from her behind me. On the way back, Iris was silent, but I could hear her thoughts. I'm on the back of Finn's bike again. Today is seriously the best. I thought to myself that my youth wasn't so dull after all. Iris really was adorably excessive. After we reached the apartment complex, I was about to say goodbye when she suddenly spoke up. Finn, are you busy tonight? I was a bit taken aback. Why? Is something up? Iris looked at me, her eyes filled with anticipation. I wanted to invite you to dinner. Immediately after, I heard her mind cheering. Oh, yeah. I finally had the courage to ask him out. Please say yes. Please say yes. Sure, I replied. What do you want to eat? Iris answered right away. You choose, she said, but her mind was thinking. As long as I'm with Finn, I'd eat anything. Then let's have hot pot, I suggested. She nodded instantly. Okay. That evening, we went to a hot pot restaurant together. Mid-meal, she suddenly looked at me and asked softly, Finn, have you ever thought about dating? I was momentarily stunned. Why the sudden question? Iris replied calmly, just curious. But inside, she was a bundle of nerves. If he says he's never thought about it, do I even stand a chance? Not for now, I said. I want to focus on my studies. Iris looked disappointed for a split second, but she quickly rallied. It's okay. As long as I keep trying, sooner or later, he'll fall for me. I looked at her and thought to myself, with her being this persistent, I don't know how much longer I'll be able to keep refusing. After we finished eating, we left the restaurant. The rain was still drizzling, not heavy, but enough to make the air feel chilly. I looked at her, about to ask if she wanted to call a car, but she beat me to it. Finn, do you want to take a walk for a bit? I was slightly surprised. It's raining, though. Iris tilted her head slightly. It's just a light drizzle, it's fine. But immediately after, I heard her thoughts. I don't want to go home yet. I want to stay with Finn a little longer. I gave an involuntary soft laugh. All right, a short walk won't hurt. Iris's lips curved slightly, though she kept her face as stoic as usual. The two of us walked along a nearby street. Because of the rain, it wasn't very crowded. Only a few other couples were strolling under the trees. Iris walked beside me as I held the umbrella over both of us. I observed her quietly and noticed she seemed more subdued than usual today. After a while, I finally spoke up. Is there something you want to say? Iris paused for a moment, then shook her head. No, nothing. But in her heart, the exact opposite was true. Of course there is. I want to ask him so many things. But if I ask directly, will he think I'm annoying? As we continued walking, I spotted a convenience store by the road. I turned and asked, want to buy anything? Iris looked at the sign, hesitating, but eventually nodded. Let's go in and see. And so, our evening revolved around simple things like that. When we reached her front door, I turned to her. Did you have a good time today? Iris looked at me and nodded slightly. Yeah. But inside, she was ecstatic. I'm so happy, but I don't want it to end yet. If only we could stretch out our time together just a little longer. I smiled and gave a small wave. Well, good night then. Iris remained silent for a few seconds before softly replying, good night. She opened her door and stepped inside. I watched her figure disappear, thinking to myself, Asterisk Iris, you're truly getting more adorable by the day. Asterisk. After saying goodbye, I headed back to my own place. But the moment I stepped inside, I received a text from her. Are you asleep? I looked at the message, arching an eyebrow. She just got home and she's already texting? I replied, not yet. Is something wrong? Iris answered almost instantly. Nothing, I just don't feel like sleeping yet. But right then, I heard her thoughts again. I only said that, but really I just want to talk to him longer. I teased her back. You don't want to sleep, but you're texting me. Aren't you just bothering me then? The other side went silent for a few seconds. Then another message appeared. Do you feel bothered? I froze. For some reason, such a simple question felt strangely heavy. I quickly messaged back. Not really, it just feels a bit unusual. Iris didn't reply further, but I caught her inner monologue. He doesn't think I'm a bother, so I'll just keep texting. I sighed inwardly. Asterisk Iris, Do you really not intend to hide your feelings even a little bit? Asterisk, we texted back and forth for the rest of the evening. The topics weren't anything special, just mundane, everyday chatter, but I found that I didn't mind it at all. Finally, as the clock neared 1 a.m., I sent a final good night. Go to sleep. We have school tomorrow. Iris went silent for a moment before replying. All right, good night. But immediately after, her mind chimed in. I texted with Finn all night. Today was truly a wonderful day. I shook my head slightly and quickly fell asleep. The next morning at school, I saw Iris slumped over her desk. I knitted my brows and sat down. Kai nudged me and whispered, Hey, what's up with Iris today? She looks exhausted. I glanced at her. Before I could say anything, Iris lifted her head, her eyes clearly showing her fatigue. Good morning. But right then, I heard her inner voice. I'm so sleepy, but it's worth it. As long as I can see Finn, I can endure anything. Did Iris really lose sleep just because she was texting me? I pulled a carton of milk from my bag and placed it on her desk. Drink this. You're clearly sleep-deprived. Iris looked at the milk, momentarily stunned, but she quickly reached for it. She gave a soft thanks, but inside she was screaming, Finn gave me something. I have to drink every single drop. Seeing her attempt to maintain a calm facade, I couldn't help but find it entertaining. After handing her the milk, I turned back to my assignments. She quietly picked up the carton, opened it, and took a tiny sip. Immediately after, I heard her thoughts. This is milk that Finn gave specifically to me. I have to drink it as slowly as possible to savor every moment. Good grief, who knew drinking milk could trigger so much deep thought? I glanced over and saw that her face remained stoic, but the speed at which she was drinking was suspiciously slow. I couldn't resist teasing her. You're drinking so slowly. Is the milk not good? Iris stiffened, then answered quickly, No, it's fine. But in her heart, she was panicking. I've been caught. No. I have to change the subject immediately. She abruptly set the milk down and asked with feigned composure, Finn, are you busy after school today? I raised an eyebrow. No plans yet. What? Iris turned her face away, her tone sounding casual. I want to go for a walk. If you're free, come with me. But right then, I heard her true thoughts. He absolutely has to say yes. What if he refuses? No, I won't accept a no. Sure, I said. I'll go with you after class. Iris was momentarily dazed, but she regained her cool fast. Okay, see you after school. Yet, her heart was cheering with joy. Success. I've secured another outing with Finn. In the afternoon, after school let out, Iris and I left the campus together. She didn't call for her car. Instead, she chose to walk with me. I looked at her and asked, Where are we headed? Iris thought for a moment and said, Let's just walk. No specific destination. But in her mind, a different thought echoed. As long as I'm with you, anywhere is fine. And so, we strolled along the streets near the school. The evening breeze blew gently, bringing a cool freshness that made the atmosphere incredibly pleasant. Iris walked slowly beside me, her eyes gazing into the distance as if she were contemplating something. After a while, she suddenly spoke up. Finn, have you ever thought about the future? I was a bit surprised by the question. The future? What do you mean? Iris turned to look at me, her gaze reflecting a complex mix of emotions. I mean, have you ever thought about what you'll do after graduation? I thought for a moment before replying. I want to get into a good university, then find a stable job. Just something simple. Iris pursed her lips slightly. After a moment of silence, she asked, What if you leave this city in the future? I was caught off guard. Leave this city? Iris nodded, her voice softening. Yeah, if you go far away, what happens to the people staying behind? I looked at her, suddenly realizing what she was getting at. Instead of answering directly, I slowly asked a question of my own. Are you worried about something? Iris's eyes flickered for a second, but she quickly regained her composure. Nothing. I was just asking. But in her heart, a different thought echoed. Why are you so perceptive? I'm just afraid that one day, you'll actually leave me behind. I went quiet for a while, then said gently, I've never really thought about going far away. But if the day comes when I have to leave, I won't forget the people who are important to me. Iris gave a small start. She looked at me, a spark of light dancing in her eyes. But very quickly, she turned her face away, feigning indifference. Is that so? Yet, her heart was cheering. He said he won't forget the important people. Am I one of them? I hope I am. After walking for a bit, we returned to the apartment complex. Standing in front of her door, I turned to her. Did you have fun today? Iris nodded slightly. Yeah. But internally, I had so much fun, I don't want it to end yet. Once back in my room, I set my bag down, poured a glass of water, and sat on the sofa. I had just let out a long breath when my phone vibrated. I looked down, not at all surprised to see a message from Iris. Here we go again. I was about to text back, but then I heard her thoughts. I want to talk to him even longer. I shook my head, unsure whether to feel helpless or happy at this invisible clinginess. I typed, "So, what do you want to talk about?" This time, Iris was silent for a long time. I raised an eyebrow, thinking she might have fallen asleep. But then a message finally appeared. Have you ever wondered what would happen if, one day, you could no longer hear my thoughts? I was stunned. What kind of question is that? I messaged back. Why ask that all of a sudden? She didn't reply immediately, but I could hear her mind. I'm just curious. If you couldn't hear me anymore, would you still care about me? I dazed out for a second. Is Iris actually worried about this? After a moment, I replied, if that really happened, I don't think much would change. The other side went silent again. But in my head, I heard a hopeful thought. Nothing would change? Does that mean you'd still care for me? I decided to send one final message before bed. Asterisk Iris, do you believe in fate? Asterisk. She asked why I was asking that. I texted back, because I can hear every single thing in your heart. Maybe this is our fate. On the other end, she practically exploded. I'm going to die of embarrassment. Finn just said it straight out, that he can hear my heart. I was only guessing before. I sent the final clincher. Asterisk Iris, I love you. Asterisk. The next morning was as coincidental as any other day. I ran into Iris again. But this time, she didn't have her cold facade. Instead, her face was completely flushed. Good morning, Finn. I immediately crossed my arms. Iris, I can hear everything you're thinking right now. She became even more flustered. You're a cheater. Call me a cheater if you want, as long as it's for the person I love. With that, I took Iris's hand. Together, we ran forward toward our future.